Lindsay with Texas Hill Country Winery.
We have a few messages from some friends who wanted to say hi.
Hey guys, Nate here, Bell Springs.
Hi, from Hawk Shadow.
Hi, from High Meadow Winery.
I'm Mindy. From Winery.
Hello, friends. We've missed you. This is Nicole with Becker Vineyards.
Hi, this is Dan and Sue Schultz with $33 combined. From Cellars Estate Winery and Ranch in Texas Hill Country. Cheers from Farmhouse Vineyard.
Hi everybody, I'm Jesse with Lost West Cellars in Fredericksburg.
Hey, it's Doug. This is Boo. Los Wines. Hey guys, it's Duncan from Los Pinos Ranch Vineyards.
Hey everyone, this is we're Texas Heritage.
Hey guys, this is Tommy Welford from Dukeman Family Winery.
Hi, this is Sheila from Dry Comel Creek Vineyards.
Hi, John here from Kerrville Winery.
Hi, I'm David Kuhlken of Pedernales Cellars.
And I'm Julie Kuhlken of Pedernales Cellars.
Hey guys, it's Chris and Catherine from Los Vineyards.
Hi, we're Steve and Sally Baxter, Fiesta Winery.
This is Gina with Stonehouse Vineyard.
Hi, from Driftwood Estate Winery. I'm Laura Elliott.
And I'm her dad, Gary.
Hey guys, it's Daniel and Lauren here at Fall Creek Vineyards in Driftwood.
My name is Melissa, and I work at Blue Lotus Winery in Texas Beaver.
Cheers!
This is Lindsay with Texas Hill Country Winery.
We have a few messages from some friends who wanted to say hi.
Hey guys, Nate here, Bell Springs.
Hi, from Hawk Shadow.
Hi, from High Meadow Winery.
I'm Mindy. From Winery.
Hello, friends. We've missed you. This is Nicole with Becker Vineyards.
Hi, this is Dan and Sue Schultz with $33 combined. From Cellars Estate Winery and Ranch in Texas Hill Country. Cheers from Farmhouse Vineyard.
Hi everybody, I'm Jesse with Lost West Cellars in Fredericksburg.
Hey, it's Doug. This is Boo. Los Wines. Hey guys, it's Duncan from Los Pinos Ranch Vineyards.
Hey everyone, this is we're Texas Heritage.
Hey guys, this is Tommy Welford from Dukeman Family Winery.
Hi, this is Sheila from Dry Comel Creek Vineyards.
Hi, John here from Kerrville Winery.
Hi, I'm David Kuhlken of Pedernales Cellars.
And I'm Julie Kuhlken of Pedernales Cellars.
Hey guys, it's Chris and Catherine from Los Vineyards.
Hi, we're Steve and Sally Baxter, Fiesta Winery.
This is Gina with Stonehouse Vineyard.
Hi, from Driftwood Estate Winery. I'm Laura Elliott.
And I'm her dad, Gary.
Hey guys, it's Daniel and Lauren here at Fall Creek Vineyards in Driftwood.
My name is Melissa, and I work at Blue Lotus Winery in Texas Beaver.
Cheers!
All right.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Hill Country Happy Hour. My name is Lindsay Felty, and I'm the operations coordinator for Texas Hill Country Wineries. We've been hosting these live Facebook Happy Hour events for the past 2 months now. And it's just been a great way for us and for all of our wineries to connect with you guys during this time. So we really appreciate you tuning in and joining us tonight. Each week we have a different group of THCW member wineries talking about a variety of topics. And this week we're focusing on wineries opening in the Hill Country and what it looks like to visit wine country now that most of our winery stores are starting to reopen. So this is just a really exciting topic, and we're really excited to share some news with you and some updates. So please feel free to ask questions in the Facebook comments, and I'll relay those to everybody tonight. And without further ado, I will go ahead and introduce everybody. We've got a fun group tonight. We have Amanda Koraska with Black Creek Estate. We have Ron Yates with Spicewood and Ron Yates Winery. We've got John Rivenburgh with Kerrville Hills Winery, and he is also the vice president of Texas Hill Country Wineries. And we've got our moderator tonight, David Kuhlken. He is with Pedernales Cellars, and he is the president here at Texas Hill Country Wineries. All right, David, I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
Lindsay, yeah, no, we got a good group tonight, and hopefully this will be a lot more of just kind of answering questions that other people have. But we figured we've spent really most of the 2 months not talking about the shutdown necessarily and kind of just everything else we're doing. But now, I mean, we have the exciting kind of opportunity to be open again. And so I know it's confusing though for some folks, or just there's a lot to navigate. And hopefully tonight we can talk a little bit about everything that Texas wineries are doing and all the opportunities you have to come out and kind of come back out and enjoy the experience. So with that, I mean, I think what I want to start with is actually have each of the folks on here introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their winery, and also a little bit about what they might be drinking tonight. So Amanda, do you want to kick off and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got?
Sounds good. I'm Amanda Koraska at Black Creek Estate Winery. I'm actually here in the vineyard at the moment. You can see the disc golf basket and vineyard behind me. We're a destination winery on the north shore of Lake Travis, right between Cedar Park and Marble Falls. We offer a restaurant, disc golf, tasting room, of course, plenty of outdoor space to hang out, picnic, lawn games, that sort of thing. We also have another location in downtown Marble Falls, so if you're headed out of Dallas, heading south on 281 towards Fredericksburg, you can stop on by at our convenient location right off Highway 281 across from Blue Bonnet Cafe. Today I am drinking Rosemary Rosé, our rosé with a little bit of rosemary in it. It's a fun spring drink.
Cool. And Mr. Yates, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm Ron Yates. My family and I own Spicewood Vineyards, which we purchased in 2007. I can't believe it's been 12 and a half years. And we also started Ron Yates, which is out in almost a high on 290. So we've had that since about late 2016, early 2017. So been in the wine, I feel like an old person in the wine business, even though it's only been 12 years in the state, with all these new people and new places and people I don't even know yet. But it's been pretty exciting. Thanks for having me tonight. I am drinking our Spicewood Vineyards 2018 Tempranillo from up in Rusty Dutton's Vineyards in the High Plains. We will be releasing it here in a couple months, and I am just digging it. So shout out to Rusty for incredible fruit. And I'm also, if you can see this wonderful Katie Jane inspired Texas Hill Country Wine Trail season pass ticket glass from 2011. You can't get these anymore, and somehow I haven't broken all of mine yet.
Awesome. And John, can you give yourself a little introduction?
Hey, I'm John Rivenburgh. Ron, I've always wanted to meet you, man. It's pretty impressive to be on the same screen as you. It's pretty cool.
You're welcome.
I'm super excited. I'm kind of fan struck, like right now. I'm kind of fanboying out, but I think I'll get through it.
I think you'll be fine.
I might. I don't know. I I am right now in a barn in West Texas, surrounded by tractors, because I've been in the vineyard all day working on a couple projects. So I'm drinking water, but I didn't necessarily miss happy hour.
And Matus again?
I'm sorry?
Drinking Matus again out there?
Drinking Matus again. Yes. Yeah, straight out of the volcano. It's good stuff. Yeah, so very happy to be inside and out of the 30-mile-an-hour winds and 90-degree heat and blowing sand. So, yeah, here I am.
Fantastic. Yeah, and I am David Kuhlken, president and winemaker at Pedernales Cellars, and been doing this, well, I guess the winery thing for about 13 years, and had a family in the business for a good bit longer, growing back from the mid-90s. Yeah, like I said, I am the president of the association, at least for a little bit longer until John has to do this. So, yeah, again, I know. That is always the thing you get to look forward to. And yeah, I'm actually drinking we just bottled our Viognier Reserve for 2019. This won't be released for a little bit, so this is an opportunity for me to take in the bottling from the last 2 or 3 weeks that we've been doing. And I too just got back from the High Plains, so been kind of enjoyable to get back to that side of the business after doing all the things that we've done during the shutdown and some of the things we haven't been doing, I suppose. But kind of start looking forward to the 2020 harvest and making sense of what we'll be doing in 2020. So it's already been a crazy year, and actually that's part of the reason we wanted to do this little chat tonight is kind of let the focus be on what's happening now that tasting rooms can be open, what kind of opportunities there are for guests that are going to be coming out, how people have adapted a little bit with that change. And this is a great group, I think, because we have a number of different types of wineries. And in both Flat Creek's case and in the case of Ron Yates, multiple tasting rooms. And so multiple different kind of opportunities, changes. And I kind of want to just dive right into that because I know, like at our place, the phones have been ringing pretty much off the hook with just questions about what people can and can't do, what they need to be prepared for, how things might have changed. And I know some of this is fluid, right? But I'd really love to just dive in and hear from each of you guys in turn what you guys are doing, how you're carrying over some of the things you might have been doing during the shutdown, just all the things that people can expect now, like ways they can kind of reach out and be part of what you do with the way things are now. So Ron, I'll actually jump to you first, let you kind of start on yours.
Yeah, I've been fairly surprised at the amount of people that have come out to enjoy thankfully at Spicewood and Yates also, we have lots of room and people can spread out, but we've had people have been out and been ready to get out and see it. So we've really, we've kind of opened up outside and spread all the tables, a minimum of about 12 or 15 feet apart, if not much farther. Some of them at Spicewood are 30 or 40 feet out from underneath trees by themselves. And we've kind of been limiting, we've been limiting inside is for doing tastings only. So we've been at Spicewood, it's been about the 25% capacity was 12, and now we've moved it up to 16 or 18 inside to do tastings, and about the same at Yates, a little less than that. So we've been trying to keep it at all the distance and cleaning all the time, every time. My hands have never been so amazingly clean and sanitary from the washing and the sanitizer. But it's been really it's been refreshing to get to have people out. I didn't realize how much I actually enjoyed talking to people until I didn't get to talk to people for so long. And maybe it's just people didn't get to hear me. Now they're, a month or two, they'll be tired of listening to me talk again. But right now they're actually listening just because they've been home for so long.
Yeah. Do people have, like for y'all's place, do they have to do reservations? Is there like things they need to prepare for?
Yeah, so we don't require them, but on Saturdays and Sundays, it's been pretty much, if you didn't have a reservation, it's been tough to get you in to do a tasting. But we've still had plenty of room for glasses and bottles and all that stuff spread out outside. But it is something that we've had to kind of adjust to, because we normally at Spicewood, we're kind of, we're down a 2.5 mile private road, and it's off in a corner, and there's not a lot of people come to us usually by purpose and not by accident. But we've had to really clamp down on it and make sure that we're have enough space for everybody to safely get to try the wine. But we've got the event center as well that we're doing some tastings and some seating in there. So it helps to have a reservation, but if you show up and there's a spot, you don't need one.
Yeah. And it's the same sort of setup at Ron Yates.
Same setup at Ron Yates. We're doing the same. We've got plenty of room to spread out, and all the trees that are kind of off in the distance now have all the picnic tables are up underneath the trees. We've got a little grill out there. We've had some people grilling the last couple of weekends.
That's cool.
It's been fun.
Yeah. What about you, Amanda?
Well, we were kind of fortunate because we have a restaurant on property that we were able to operate under the restaurant rules for so long.
Right.
So even before the rest of the tasting rooms were open, we did curbside pickups. And so they were able to pick up bottles of wine as well as our pizzas, salads, sandwiches, cheese plates, that sort of thing. And we had tables spread out around the property, and it was kind of like, we'll deliver the food to your car, and then if you so choose to picnic on site, then you're more than welcome to do that. A lot of people brought their own blankets, found places out in the vineyard to picnic a little bit. So we really never fully shut down, other than our full service tastings and things went away. It was just bottle sales and food. As we slowly opened up into like where restaurants were able to actually seat inside again, we started offering just our 3-course paired wine meal inside. And then we did casual pizza, salad, sandwiches, and things outside. The casual experiences were still running without a reservation. You can just drop in. We're doing flights of wine, so we're not pouring any wine into a glass anybody's tasted out of. We're doing that both inside and outside. So outside, we're doing flights, 3 2-ounce pours. Inside, we do the standard 6 pours that we were doing before, but you have 6 different wine glasses, so we're pouring into a clean glass every round. Of course, sanitizing tables between each guest, sanitizing all the high touch points and everything else that everybody else is required to do at this point. Just released this weekend our appetizer pairing. So in addition to the 3-course paired wine meal, we have a more casual option for inside the restaurant, but everything inside does require a reservation at our facility.
Cool. How about you, John? John.
Yeah, I'm coming, bro. Yeah. It took me a second to find the button. We've been pretty much doing the same thing. Lots of cleaning. Reservations are not required, but they are requested. We actually spent, oddly enough, January closed down, kind of revamping how all of our tasting was going to work inside the tasting room. We're pretty lucky that we have a pretty significant size tasting room inside. So we were already going to kind of like a seated tasting model. I was kind of getting rid of all of the tables and other little bars and all the things that were in there. And so it's kind of helped us move more to what I wanted to do, structured as a little elevated tasting experience where you're at the table, you're not at the bar. We were already trying to push people away from the bar. And use it more like a server station than anything else. That's worked pretty well. I mean, other than that, just following all the basic guidelines that are in place for us to use. I mean, we're in Kerrville, we're not on 290, so it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Our folks down there, our occupancy level is actually gigantic. And if I could get 25% of the people that they said I would be allowed to have in there, I would be really happy. But yeah, I don't think we'll have to worry about that anytime soon. We have lots of outdoor space. We're creating more all the time. We've even, kind of opened up the tank room, AKA the fishbowl, if you will, is what we call it. You can go and have a seat in the tank room and do a tasting in there. It's a little different, a little separated. But beyond that, man, just lots of cleaning. We pretty much go through, we're not doing individual glasses, but we are pretty much going through all of our glasses. And then we've got some kind of back staff that's back in the back, just sanitizing, running the sanitizing dishwasher until we, once we've gone through all the glasses. And we've been lucky enough to not really go through that yet. So it's been pretty good. It's been neat to see all the folks, like Ron was saying. It's been nice to actually, interact and talk with people coming into the tasting room. And it's a mixed bag. You have some people that are very cautious and they don't want to touch the door handle or come inside. And then you have some people that like want to come and sit in your chair in your office and, like play with your keyboard. They don't really care, like they want to do whatever. They're like, whatever, man, I'm not worried about it. And so I think you have to be a little dynamic in how you approach each one of those, right? Because you can't, I don't think you can just work in such a rigid fashion. I think you have to work within people's comfort zones for what's there. Yeah. And so, we're kind of letting our staff determine, their comfort zone, obviously first, and then the comfort zone of the people doing the tasting. Yeah,
no, that's well said. And that I guess we definitely have seen that really wide range where, you've got folks that would be comfortable with really anything, and folks that need a lot of assurance. And I think, we've kind of just taken the approach that our job is to like make it clear we'll manage the experience to make sure that no one needs to really worry about that stuff. It'll be set up in a way that like can be all the things that they want, or hopefully all the things they want. That's what we're shooting for, to make it still an enjoyable, like personable experience. But it is, it's different. We're set up in our tasting room originally to do more, like for the main tasting room, to do more bar tasting, and we're not doing any of that now. So when folks come to our place, it's table service, but it's just because that's really the way the room allows us to lay out. And so like our servers kind of stay mostly from behind the bar and then either circulate around to go outside to tables, or from where they are, they can do some amount across the bar out to the tables. But again, that's the indoor service, and all, and since the original opening, we've then been doing flight tasting and arranged reservation tasting out on the patio as well. People can certainly come out at our place, and I feel like this is a pretty common theme. Most anybody can come out to any of the wineries, and at the absolute minimum, there's outdoor service and seating that's going to be available. And we have one of the great things about the Hill Country, our place, and most of the Texas Hill Country wineries is there's space. No matter how far you need to get from other groups to feel good about like where you're going to be, you can do it. So like at ours, there are some tables available for that, but you can always, of course, just bring your own lawn chairs and your own picnic table and grab a bottle of wine, hang out, and just enjoy. But like I said, that I would say there is near infinite capacity at Texas Hill Country wineries for that. So that we've been encouraging everybody that just be prepared to come out, and you can go to as many wineries or as few as you feel comfortable with. But the fact is that most all of them have that available. Websites will give you more information. It's always great to call ahead, and obviously the reservations are a good way to kind of just make sure what the situation is going to be at any particular location. But yeah, the only thing for us that we're not doing right now is we're not doing any substantial events, but we're not doing our wine club lounge, because anybody's familiar with our place, it's such a small space, kind of like an old, turn of the century house. We can get one group in there, and then pretty much we've run out of 6-foot distance space in there. So we're not doing that yet. We'll just sort of see how things evolve, but I think we'll work with plenty of other spaces, including our barrel cellar, in order to do that. So I'm kind of curious, talking to you guys, I mean, that's one thing, like we get a lot of questions about. It's something that's certainly just changed about the flow. We're normally have an event going almost every weekend, I feel like. Usually at least one at the winery of some sort, and then outside events. Needless to say, a lot of that's kind of at the moment stopped, but I'm curious what each of y'all are already doing when it comes to events, what might be coming up on the calendar, but what people can expect on that front, how you guys might have adapted. So Amanda, I'll actually kick it over, let you start, just kind of tell us what that looks like out at Black Creek.
Yeah, at this point, we're still kind of keeping with the family unit theme. So we've added experiences, but letting guests that are with each other in a group, in their travel group or their family unit group, book those experiences and kind of make their own party. We'll probably open up stargazing within the next month or so. Need to get with the astronomer on his sanitation protocols. But really, I don't see any major events for us until our Thanksgiving weekend shopping spree.
Looks like, well, there we go.
What happened down there?
Yeah, I know. John, earthquake?
Pretty much, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like we all still work within some restrictions there, and so it's definitely limited in terms of doing some of the traditional style events. But Ron, what about you guys? Like, what do you guys got going on?
Yeah, we had our first, we had a wedding last weekend. It was about 50 people, and it was interesting to have all those folks out there, but it was very well coordinated, and they were separated from the end of the day at the tasting room. And unfortunately, I don't get to have a day in the vines this year. We don't get to have Nora Jones at the vineyard, but we are, I think, going to start doing some small concerts, maybe selling like 50 tickets and, or 50, whatever the multiples of 8 is that can fit, or 6 that can fit at a table, and spreading those out. But we really don't have any grand plans yet. It's kind of what one of my favorite things about the business is all the events and getting to do all these fun things. So we're gonna, play that by ear. I think probably our next big event at both places will be the end of September wine club pickups, and hopefully, if everything is moved forward and we're allowed to have a crowd like that, and we can safely, keep enough space and keep everything good and clean, then that's probably where we're looking about. Maybe, hopefully into September, and getting the wine club back on the property at both places.
Yeah. John, what about you guys?
I'm not telling anybody anything, man. No, I'm kidding. We actually had a great event this last weekend. We had an art show that we had scheduled for April. Fantastic artist out of Kerrville by the name of Tish Miller. She did a really great, like, a series. I think it was like a 40 painting series. It was all Frida Kahlo portraits. It was really, the art's really great. Like, if you ever are in the area, she's super talented. And we, quite honestly, I wasn't prepared for the amount of people we had in the tasting room. And it was a comical observation is you could tell the people that were from the Hill Country, and you could tell her artist friends that came from Austin. And the artist friends from Austin all sat 10 feet apart on, blankets on the lawn outside, and yelled across the 10 feet at each other to talk. And their artist friends from Kerrville, like, were pretty much sitting on top of each other inside the tasting room.
Yeah.
But it was a great event. People were very respectful. I mean, we did sanitizer stations for people to come in, to take care of things. And we kind of like spaced the art out, so not everybody is right on top of each other looking at the artwork. Luckily, we've got some long walls, and so we spaced it out really nicely to where, the exhibit was well placed. That was pretty cool. We had a band playing in there, really, really good band from Kerrville. These guys were, it was nice. It was a little odd. I could tell how out of tasting room shape we all were, because we were like overrun, like all these people want glasses. Like, what's wrong with these people? Like, oh my God. Like, how do you do this? I completely forgot how to use a POS machine. It was great. It was a good day. Moving forward to that, I've kind of carried on this tradition from the owners that were at Kerrville Hills before, and they have a murder mystery dinner twice a year. And I went to one right before kind of the turnover during the transition, and I had a great time. There were like 75 people at the dinner, and it was entertaining, and it was interesting, and had a great night. And so we've kind of carried that forward. Working now, like the social distancing stuff, we've worked with the local Chamber of Commerce in Kerrville. We've got a big mobile stage that they're going to bring out. We're actually going to have the actors do kind of the work, kind of almost like a play. We're going to set up on the lawn, social distancing tables where people can sit, out in the way and all in lawn, kind of like, like Shakespeare in the Park, if you will, but with murder. So it should be fun.
Shakespeare had murder.
Yeah. So we're kind of moving forward ahead. We oddly enough are in a little different mindset area as far as we're more rural, right? So people are less fearful for what's going on.
Sure.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just kind of how it is. We also are in an area where there's an older population, so we kind of have this mixed bag of folks who are weary, but then folks who are weary but don't care because they think they're far enough away from the rest of the world. So it's been good. But those are the two things that we have done. And then in July we have that murder mystery dinner, and then after that, guys, don't forget, we start harvest. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
You're gonna actually harvest grapes this year?
Wait, what?
We got the hill country pretty well sewed up, dude.
Yeah. Actually, I want to jump to this in a minute because, one of the things that gets lost in all this is that, like, it's not like the virus has changed anything about the fact that we all still make wine and that's the business we're in. So I actually want to hear on that. Like, yeah, and on our event side, we're not doing a whole lot of our events. We're the sort of still waiting to decide how we're going to do wine club, pickup party. But we definitely plan to do things for our wine club, and we'll find something that fits into the situation at the time. Otherwise, we've been actually kind of gearing up to do a little bit more at our vineyard site, which is separate from the winery and has plenty of open space. And it feels like a natural opportunity to just kind of open up more for people to go out there and tour and be able to experience it. And if we can arrange some tastings, that may be something we do out there. Just again, because it's something that when you come to our winery right now, you don't actually get to see the vineyard since it's about 20 minutes away. And I think we'll do more to just kind of take people out there and give them a good distance opportunity. Also, I would point out, since it's, we are here for the Texas Hill Country Wineries, we will be having what was previously the Wine and Wildflower event, which will now be our summer harvest event. Is that the right wording precisely? But we'll be doing it during harvest, and a chance for people who buy tickets to come out and experience all the wineries during that time frame. So,
David, is specifically not a harvest event.
No, it is not a harvest event. I know this because everybody gets really. People,
it's not a harvest.
It is not a harvest. It'll be happening, though. We might be doing some harvest, folks, when you come out and you actually come as a ticket holder and come and do your tastes at our wineries. It's a good chance some of us will be harvesting. So, do know you might not get to dive in. Maybe you will, actually. So we'll see.
You can definitely harvest at Flat Creek Estate. So if you're looking to harvest, we will still be accepting volunteers for harvest.
Yeah, and so actually, this I want to get into is that, like, so much has changed in everybody's lives, right? But like, we're in a business that, we're making plans for what we're going to grow and harvest years out, and this is we stick to doing what we're doing. So again, you guys describe a little bit like what you have been doing and what you're preparing for, because we got harvest coming up, and I'm kind of curious to know, like I suppose I'm interested in anything that's changed based on what you guys have experienced the last few months, but more, what's coming up for everybody with their wineries with the season going as it is. So, anybody jump in, honestly?
Changes wise, I don't know. We're pretty much still kind of on schedule. We're obviously not going to work nearly as hard as we had planned on working, but. I was very fortunate to make my way through the high plains on a trip up to New Mexico, and I don't know, Dave, if you remember that trip to New Mexico.
You remember that trip? My son is only just now healed, so.
Yeah, yours and mine both. Yeah, he's still here's ringing. Yeah, and so. I was kind of a little privy to some conversation, so I started looking around the hill country for fruit. And I mean, we're not 100% great shape, right? But we were able to kind of fill some gaps early. So for us, it kind of shockingly this last week, the realization that like, oh wait, you know, we're not going to be as slow or as laid back as we thought. My personal program at Kerrville Hills is less than, but some of the other programs I work with are still, you know, pretty much right on track and looking pretty good. As far as social distance, I mean, I have a pretty tight crew like most of you guys do, and I mean, I was adamant. I mean, because I'm also kind of a germ phobe, that you know, you can come to work and you can keep your job and I'll keep paying you, but you better just like go home. I don't want to see you like at Barton Springs in Austin hanging out, you know, in the middle of all this. And so we kept a pretty tight knit group. It was kind of interesting how we all kind of started, you know, not that I don't love my employees, but I don't always necessarily like socialize and go to movie night with them, you know, and so like, you know, go to the drive-in movie with your employees, and so some cool things do come out of it. But I mean, as far as like any major differences, I mean, as you guys all know, being winemaker, you're the highest paid janitor in the room, right? So that's, you know, there's cleaning on top of cleaning on top of cleaning. So instead of 20 times we clean something, it might be 20. Huh?
You pay yourself?
No, not in years, Ron.
It's like in Monopoly money. It looks almost real, but like it's not. It's not.
I pay myself in wishes and rainbows mostly. Yeah.
What about y'all, Ron, Amanda?
Go ahead, Amanda.
I'm sorry for the distraction earlier. I am sitting kind of in the fairway of the disc golf course. Of course, it's very close.
Nice.
We did have some players. I'm glad they were good shots and they didn't beat me in the side of the head. We're pretty much running operations just as normal. Like John says, we have a small crew that basically functions as a family unit anyway. They're not out, you know, traveling the world or anything. Expecting the same amount of fruit that we would always get. Wine sales were good during COVID, so we're planning to just keep on shooting for the stars.
You guys are mostly like estate fruit, right? Or at least that's a large part of your program.
Correct. Yeah, most of it is coming off the estate, and this year it'll be probably substantially more coming off our vineyard. We have a really good harvest coming at us this year. Fingers crossed. So you never count it until we pick it.
How much can you give me?
What?
How much can you let me have?
Yeah, by the way, like for anybody who's following online, I mean, like if you tuned in for some of the Zooms, like particularly the High Plains one, you definitely got an update on the fact that High Plains had a good bit of freeze damage on some of those vineyards that particularly it was really a freeze that mostly was in October, November. And so, you know, a lot of those blocks still have fruit, but it's a substantially lower yield than they would have otherwise had. So for wineries that, you know, rely, or at least have part of their program that's coming from High Plains, that's going to be a smaller vintage. You know, John's up there right now actively looking. I was just there last week. I'm sure Ron has been working with all the growers and going out too. And it, you know, it's rough. This is farming. It kind of sucks, honestly. But we're all sort of creatively working on what our wine program will look like. So like for us, we're partially hill country. Normally it might be like 25%. This year it's going to be about half is hill country for us. But you know, the High Plains, lots of things still have fruit. It's just that whereas I might have had like a 5 or 6 ton lot coming from a vineyard, I've got a 1 ton lot coming from a vineyard. So John, I was giggling when you were saying it's going to be like, you're not going to be having working as hard, because we're like looking at the fact that we'll have 60 lots. They'll just all be 1 ton. So I'm not actually sure that's going to be easier, honestly. Going to be a lot of really interesting small lots and some kind of cool blends, I have a feeling, knowing what we're looking at. So
I think Todd and Reagan, our winemakers, have already ordered a new dartboard for harvest. we've had pretty significant losses in most of the vineyards we're pulling from. Luckily, we've made way more wine than we should have the last 2 or 3 years. And 6 months ago, and I was like, where are we going to find a home for these 7 wines that we just made that aren't in our program? Guess what? They're in our program now. We've still, most of the growers, actually all the growers we worked with, some of them have just said we're not going to have any fruit this year, and a few of them have just dropped whatever little bit there was, and we've kind of been happy that there's been some focus on the health of the vineyard first, and not necessarily trying to squeeze a crop out. It looks like we're going to have a pretty decent crop at Spicewood. We had a little bit of PD back in Pierce's disease back in 2007. That's kind of been dragging us down a little bit, but everything looks, the fruit that we do have looks really healthy there and good. We're going to have our first real big, fingers crossed, our big first Touriga Nacional harvest from the EB vineyard in the Hill Country. So we're a little bit we've taken the last couple of years we've really loved. We've searched a few places out and found some stuff that we're going to work with. Really, our big deal has been trying to find some white wine. All of our white wine vineyards have pretty much been decimated. And so keeping our white wine, which normally is not, every winemaker's total priority, but to keep the wine club wines and keep everything operating within the normal parameters and not having to pull wines that would be released, 2 wine clubs later, pulling them up and releasing them early because we didn't have a wine. So we've been really lucky and found a couple other spots, and I think we've satisfied most of what we need to make. I bet you, we normally do 175 to 215 tons a year, and I bet you it's at 50 this year.
Wow.
And it's just a good amount of our vineyards have had some significant damage, and they've just decided to drop the fruit and try to work on the health of the vineyard this year instead of trying to squeeze out some fruit. And for those of us that remember 2013 and all the crazy freezes, that taught me that every year we need to make a wine or 2 or maybe 3 extra, and we have been doing it, and it's going to pay off, I think. So.
Yeah. Don't worry, everybody. We're not going to be out of wine. That's not the outcome. No. I mean, actually, like some of these years produce some of the most amazing wines, but obviously they've become much more scarce because the wines we make will be smaller. We're probably pulling in about half the tonnage we would normally pull in, and again, it's going to be so many smaller lots. That's like certainly a feature of what we do. So yeah. There'll be a lot more of stuff coming back, and probably not my Subaru, but definitely coming back in the truck. So it's that scale this year. So I think our trucking companies are gonna lose some business this time around. But yeah. So I mean, we had a question actually out there about first of all about the Hill Country crop. In terms of folks were wondering about sort of the weather, this cooler spring we had, some of the rains, has that impacted anything at y'all's places? And then also, and hail, I guess too, because I mean, there's been plenty of storms that rolled through, but then people are also just curious about harvest opportunities. And so if they want to volunteer, how do they find out and how do they get engaged? How do they do that? Jump in, John.
We will have volunteer harvest again. Yeah, John, wait. We will have volunteer harvest like we do every year at Spicewood. So, if you're interested in harvesting fruit, please, we would love to have you. You can get on our website and sign up to the email list, and you will get all kinds of wonderful volunteer harvest emails from me. That's the one thing that's fun is we still are going to have a fairly decent Hill Country crop, and so there's going to be plenty of time for people to dive in and get to taste. It looks like maybe it's the weather, so who knows if I'm right, but we've had a good bit of rain between early March to now, enough to send us on our way. It looks like the 15-day plus forecast, there's not a whole lot in there. So maybe we can dry up a little bit and get some growth going. But I think we've got enough water this year to really have a fantastic harvest. Everything, I think we had one day that was close to 100 in May, but everything else was a little on the lower end. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I ran 6 miles yesterday morning because it felt so good. In June on June 10th, I was like, wow, it's 65 degrees in the morning. John, you ran, right? You ran. And
I walked about 6 miles in a vineyard. I don't know about in the sand.
To the vineyard.
In the sand and 40-mile-an-hour winds uphill the whole time, but I didn't run.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't know about the uphill, buddy. Like, I mean, we've seen the landscape out in the high plains. So.
There's some vertical spaces there.
Oh, yeah. You can clear some elevation if you walk 10 miles.
But I think at least for our fruit in the hill country, it could, there's still 65, 75, 80 days to go, but everything looks very promising.
Cool.
The younger vines that we planted at Ron Yates look gorgeous, and next year we should have some really great Tempranillo coming off that. Both our winemakers, Reagan at Sandy Road, and Todd's just got his little home vineyard of Petit Syrah going, and both those guys are going to have some really good looking vines and some fruit this year. So we're proud of, we're positive about the outcome, the possible outcome of Hill Country. It's hard to talk in definites this far out, but
no, because you know that if you say it, you're cursed.
Yeah. No, I don't want any hailstorms. You know about those, David.
Dude, talk about 2013, having everything blasted to the ground, and then the morning of Mother's Day, sitting and watching my vineyard in 15 minutes just get smoked. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys, that was like literally as if like Godzilla just kind of walked through y'all's vineyard.
Stomped right through it. Yeah. And then making a whopping 200 bottles of wine that year.
Yeah.
That's what we made. 200 bottles of wine from Texas fruit at Benny Branch that year.
Yeah.
But Hill Country, I'm just going to agree with Ron. I'm just too superstitious. I'm not going to say a word, but I will say if there's anybody who wants to volunteer in any of the 3 vineyards that I work with, is looking for people to help pick. And you can email me at info@khwco-op.com. And I will gladly take any volunteers that want to come and help pick grapes.
What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, same here. I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch, but looking pretty good so far in our vineyard. If anybody wants to harvest with us, just go to the website flatcreekestate.com. During COVID, to help with the phone calls and alleviate some of the pressure, we actually added a chat feature. So just bottom right-hand corner of the website, there's a chat with us. That'll come directly to me if I'm live chatting, or it'll go direct to my email. Either way, I'll get you on that harvest list.
Cool. Yeah, no, we do take volunteers, and it's usually just for our estate vineyard. So folks who want to do that, definitely contact us through the wine club list. It's listening to this, like one of the things that always strikes me, and it's like one of the great selling points about Texas wine is that we're talking about like a huge state with so much different, so many different regions, so many different vineyards. And the thing about it is that like it's, with all the things that have happened in the high plains, we're still going to have all of these different hill country wines and really some amazing crops that we hope will be coming in those regions. And so most of these years that like we described these events that have happened, there's still so much out there that folks can experience at the wineries and so many different wines, just because you're talking about a big region. I mean, most of us do work with different parts of it simply for this reason that, it's up one year in one place, down in another. And yet in the end, there's some amazing things that come in every year. And so that'll be part of the story of this vintage, to be sure. I mean, we're going to be talking about 2020. Everybody is going to be talking about 2020. I have a feeling for lots of reasons. But the point is that it'll be like, there'll be some amazing wines, and like that'll be something coming down the line for people. First look for those whites and rosés, but then eventually there'll be some reds out of this that have a good story behind them. There's no doubt. So there's a question out here just simply about how many acres do people farm, because it gives people some perspective too on like what your estates or what your vineyards look like, but what's out there. So who wants to jump in? What kind of acreage do you guys have that you guys work on?
So here at Black Creek Estate, we have 20 acres, mostly Italian varietals with the addition of Tempranillo and Syrah. About split 50-50, about 10 acres of white and 10 acres of red.
Ron, what about you guys?
Spicewood has currently about 30 acres in the ground. We also have 4 acres plus or minus at Yates that we will be adding another 2 or 3 this coming next year. We also have our EB Vineyard, which is west of Round Mountain there. And so we're roughly 45 acres or so in the hill country that we farm.
John?
I'm farming, let's see, trying to count. Actively farming or helping over, looking over, I don't know, in the hill country, probably somewhere in the neighborhood about the same as Ron, and then a little more up in the high plains. And so, yeah, I don't currently have any estate vineyard. I purposely don't want an estate vineyard right now.
You want to plant a vineyard somewhere, John?
Yeah, plant a vineyard, they said. Grow it, it'll be great, they said. It's great. I'm going to wait till I'm 65 and then I'm going to retire and plant a vineyard. That's going to be my goal. That seems like the time to do it.
Cool. Well, you can hire Ron as your consultant at that point. So
it costs a lot and I'm not very good.
Yeah, but you're a lot of fun, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, at 65, that's really all you're looking for.
We won't make any money, but we'll have a great time.
We'll have a great time. Yeah, that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years, Ron.
That's funny because it's true.
Oh Lord, yeah. No, we've got about 17 acres of estate. We are in the process of planting a couple more and then doing some new plantings on some old blocks. So because we've got some sections now that are pushing 25 years, and some of that is now getting replaced. And then I think like other folks here, it's like a lot of our relationships too are just long-standing relationships with high plains growers and other hill country growers, where we have varying different degrees. In some cases, we're just basically partners in terms of those crops. In other cases, we're helping manage parts of the vineyard. So it just kind of varies a little bit. But it's part of trying to figure out how to make all the different types of the wines and blocks we want to do. So we got a few more minutes left. I'm kind of curious, like everybody, introduced some ideas and different things that they started doing often during, the shutdown, like virtual tastings and that kind of thing, like virtual happy hours. Now that the tasting rooms are open for y'all, do y'all have some of those you kind of will continue doing, services you might have added that you wanted, at least for now, you expect to keep doing? What kind of stuff like that is still out there for y'all?
I mean, I'll go ahead. Yeah, I think that a lot of these tastings and getting to kind of connect with customers that, it really worked during the shutdown because nobody else had any place to go. And it was, you had a captivated audience. But I really have enjoyed this side of it. I think even though I prefer to get to see people, face to face and get to talk and experience all we do, there's just, the reality is Texas, like you said, it's a big state and there's a lot of people all over the state and other parts of the state that we can't connect with on a daily basis or a weekly basis or even a monthly basis. So we plan on trying to continue the still holding tasting and trying to create that as a bigger part of our business moving forward. We're going to start a program next week where you can call us, order as many or little wines and set up a tasting with one of our staff members and have those wines delivered to you and in a time that we can do a tasting. And we're going to do it both wine Spicewood to start, but at Yates soon enough. Anybody that buys a case or more and is interested, we'll have one of the staff members sit down and do a 30-minute kind of, hey, let's talk about these wines. Let's try them together if you're interested. And obviously, those are all if the consumer is interested in it. But it's just another way to connect with everybody that's coming out and get to tell the stories and experience even if it's not there on site, we can still get to show them what we do and be able to talk about it and try to hide my exuberance about all the things that we make. And so we will hopefully be able to keep moving forward. And I love having everybody out, but I still want to connect with the people that aren't able to make it out. And I think if we all use it, it'll be a successful and useful tool to help us not only grow our business from people that haven't been able to, but people that haven't been able to, that get to have one of those tastings and decide we have to go out there. We got to go visit the hill country. So we plan on still doing everything we've been doing, and actually probably increasing a little bit of the online presence that way.
That's awesome. That's really cool, actually. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, the outdoor seating and dining and all that has been amazing. So we'll continue to offer our outdoor pavilion tastings and our to-go food. We now have a buzzer system in place, so you don't have to stand around and wait for your pizza. We'll buzz you when it's ready. We'll continue to do DoorDash delivery in Marble Falls. And right now we can still deliver wine with that. We'll see how much longer they allow that. But we'll definitely be continuing. Yeah, because we'll definitely continue delivering food in Marble Falls anyway.
Hope you're listening, state of Texas. That was a really good idea. Just keep that one. So, yeah.
Mr. Abbott and I are fraternity brothers. Not at the same time, but you probably wouldn't take my call, but I'm going to try.
Make it happen. Make it happen. So, yeah. No, John, what about you guys? Are you giving us a tour to show us that you really are at a vineyard and you have a real job?
No, yeah, yeah, you can see my real job right there. That's what farming actually. How many acres do you farm? I don't know, too many. So the virtual world is really cool, and I'm totally intrigued. And I love Ron's idea, what they're gonna do with kind of personalized tastings like that. I don't know that we'll go quite to that extreme, but we're gonna definitely keep kind of some like virtual tastings, virtual reservation things. Continue to do all of those things that we can, because if anything, it's just really opened my eyes to how you can reach so many more people, right? Like some of the ones like the one that you and I did with Matt McGinnis, I've actually had some people from out of state contact me and thought they really enjoyed it, and so that was cool. Like people that I would have never had a chance to connect with that are in the wine business.
You guys let on a show? Y'all are brave.
Yeah,
we did. And
and we let Matt McGinnis hear all our deepest, darkest secrets. So
knows all mine.
Don't worry, he forgot. But yeah, no, we let him on, but believe it or not, he was the tamest one out of everybody on the Zoom. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna take out of this. I mean, and I've been a big proponent of the seated tasting, kind of a more slowed down, more relaxed tasting experience for a long time. And so I know that that's easier to do, like where you don't have as much volume of traffic. I don't know, how you necessarily do that in like large, numbers of people coming through your door, with large numbers of people coming through your door. But that we're going to continue. Like we're going to kind of continue the whole like social distance, like not social distance, but just like we're going to slow things down. Like I've really come to appreciate the fact that like the world kind of came to a crawl, and it was nice. And so to have people, for me especially, I navigated on a normal human schedule, and so to have like on Saturday to have people just relaxing on the lawn, right? Like bringing blankets and the kids were running around and it was slow and more simple. And so I think we're going to kind of really push to keep that focus in our lives personally, and then also in our business.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I mean, there's the thing is like this has opened up more ways to just actually connect, because we've had to all find those, avenues from our homes and wherever else we are. And so that part's cool. I love, Ron, what you guys were talking about, doing the personalized kind of like, tasting talk through for folks who want to do that. And like, I think we've been doing some of these happy hours of our own, and, and having them in a sort of a tasting and talking kind of format when we're doing these, especially when we're doing like library releases, special releases during the downtime, it was a chance to kind of connect with people who wanted to talk about those wines and ask questions. And so we'll keep doing those because it's been a nice way kind of just reach out and talk to more people while we're doing these releases. I know a lot of wineries have like kind of a pretty good sort of just going clip on doing the virtual tastings. And we've even talked, I think, for the association on doing those, like similar to the one that was like the week before, just because it's a chance to, that's a little bit different opportunity where people can try multiple wineries, different winemakers, and really kind of hear what people are doing. And I think that stuff will be a great kind of, I don't know, just like an add-on that this whole thing has created for everybody, because it's something that, I mean, it doesn't replace a real tasting. Like, I mean, I look forward to being able to go to an event and watch Ron Yates talk to a table of, of women for like an hour, which I haven't had a chance to see now in like at least 6 months. But that kind of stuff, we can't do all of that as much as we want right now. And that's, we adapt, we find ways, and we do some kind of cool stuff anyway. So, and then, yeah, I mean, a lot of it has been, I think all of us are taking advantage of the fact that we're out there in the country. These are beautiful spaces. We got endless space for you. So just find your own pace, come out and enjoy it. So
visit.
Yeah, do it. Hey, Lindsay.
Hi, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
Just wanted to thank you guys. This has been a fun group. I've really enjoyed it, and I know this has been super informative for all the Texas wine lovers out there. So thank you guys for being on tonight, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay. Thanks for hosting it.
Of course. And I also just wanted to say thank you. Just a quick shout out to all of the Texas wine fans that have just followed along with us over the last 2 months. There's so many of you guys that have tuned in every single week. And I just know all of our wineries are just so grateful to have your support. And so thank you for continuing to tune in. And I wanted to let you guys know to keep an eye out on our website, which is texaswinetrail.com, next week, because we're actually going to be putting together a list of what all of our member wineries are doing, like who's open, who's reservation only, some information like that. So keep an eye out on our website. We'll be getting that information out, so it's a little bit easier to plan your trip when you come out this summer. But we do hope that you'll just keep joining us. Our next happy hour is going to be Thursday, June 25th. And David had mentioned this, we are going to go back to doing like new release wines and doing a panel more focused on featuring some of our Hill Country wines. And so we'll have details out about that probably next week. And so keep an eye out for that. We'll post which wines are going to be featured. So you can go ahead and purchase those wines in advance and taste along with us. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have details on social media going out soon. And in the meantime, just want to remind everybody, keep checking out our website, all of our member winery social pages. That's where you're going to find details on how to keep supporting our wineries, what live events are happening, curbside deals, live tastings, all sorts of things. So just keep drinking Texas wine, and we'll see you guys on Thursday, June 25th.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, John.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Yep, appreciate it.
Peace.
Peace out.